So starter questions, let's have a look. First starter question, I've been asked to say if this is a true or false statement. So to do that, we need to expand and simplify. So we're going to check at the left-hand side first and see if it's equal to the right-hand side. So the thing to remember is we need to multiply that factor with every numbers or factors or any elements within the brackets. So I've got 2x plus 2 times 3, that's the bit that sometimes people misses, so that's 6. Here you've got what we call a silent 1, so negative 1 times 4 is negative 4. Negative 1 times negative x plus x. 2x plus x, 3x. 6 take away 4 plus 2. So is that true or false?
True. No. Incorrect. False.
False, yeah. It's because of that negative sign there. So it looks very close, but that's what they do. They make sure that it's so close. So it's false because 3x plus 2, so you can just write 3x plus 2 is different than 3x minus 2. Okay, so the next question, I've been asked to find the equation of the line passing through 2 points. Yeah, someone asked me, what's the best way to do this? And I said, there's more than one way, right? So you can either use y equal mx plus c to do everything for you. So that's one way. That is the equation of a straight line. Or you can use something called y minus b equal m x minus a. So someone said, which one do you think I should be using? If you only remember one, use the one that you remember. The only thing is you need to calculate m first. So there's no two ways about it. You've got to calculate m, and the gradient is what we said, it's a vertical change over a horizontal change. So in vertical, you've got your y-axis, so it's y2 minus y1. On the horizontal, you've got x2 minus x1. What's x1? Well, x2, so x is the first coordinate, so we're going to pick x1, y1, this one. Doesn't matter if you call it x2, y2, as long as you pick one and x2, y2. Okay, so m is y2 minus y1, so that's 9 minus 2, divided by 10 minus 3. And that is 7 divided by 7, yeah? So what's a number divided by the same number?
Equal to 1.
1. So m is 1. So my equation is going to be y equal x plus c. If I use that first one there. So straight away, y equal x plus c. Y and x would work with x1, y1, or x2, y2. So you can pick whichever one you want. So you can decide this is going to be x and this is going to be y. So y we said is 2, as 1 plus c. Yeah, so you just substitute x and y from either point. Now, I want c on its own. Take away 1, take away 1. That get rid of the 1. That means c equal 1. So I've got m equal 1, c equal 1. That's all I need. Equation of a line is y equal mx, which is x plus 1. So do you really need to remember this one? Not really, if you know how it works. Or if you prefer, we could have said y minus b equal 1, which is x minus a. So if I replace b, so I'm going to call that a and I'm going to call that b. So b is 2, so y minus 2 equal x minus 3. Have I got something not correct here? Looks like I've made a mistake somewhere. So y minus b, so plus 2 plus 2, x minus a. So y2 minus y1, 9 minus 2, that's 7. 10 minus 3 is 7, so that's 1. I'm happy with that. Now, if I replace y, oh, look at what I've done here. I've put a 1, this is a 3. This is a 3. So maybe knowing 2 ways, this is a 3, guys. So minus 3, minus 3. Because remember, we're looking at x and y, so x is 3. I don't know why I put 1 here. I was thinking of this gradient. So there you go, knowing 2 ways has got me out of jail here. So 2 minus 3 is negative 1. So is it good to know 2 ways? Probably not a bad thing. Okay, but what I should have done, to be honest, once I put my y equal x plus 1, I should have tried a point because 10 plus 1 is 11, not 9. So that should be telling me that I've made a mistake somewhere. Okay. So another way for me to make sure that I get it right is to try. All right, so remember, we're here to learn. And from time to time, we will make a mistake. But the best thing is to find out what mistake we've made. Yeah?
Yeah.
So next question. Sine x minus 0,5 equals 0. So I'm going to add 0,5 on each side. I get sine x equals 0,5. Cast, C-A-S-T. Sine is positive in here, 180 minus x, and in here, x. With x equal inverse sine of 0.5. So shift the sine of 0.5. Have I got it in radian again? Menu.
It's 30.
30, yeah. I've got, yeah, because I've got on, maybe I should buy a calculator for my hires and then a calculator for the NAD5. Yeah, so 30 degree. That way you're sure you're not going to make a mistake. 30 degree, yes, your first answer. And the second one, we said 180 take away 30 in that second quadrant. And that is 150.
150.
So that are my 2 answers. So starters here, you've seen we've looked at unit 2, we've looked at unit 1 and 2, and then we looked at unit 1. Okay. But it's always good to do these because it brings back what we've done in the past. So what are we looking at today? Today we are looking at area of any triangle, and we're going to use a Trig formula to help us with this. How do we apply that formula? And then being able to not recalling it, but recalling it. The formula is in your formula list, so you'll be able to find it there. And then
Is this still unit 2?
this is
Yeah.
unit 3 today. From today, we start in unit 3, yeah.
Right.
Why so you haven't
Sorry,
done?
I've got separate books for separate.
So it's chapter, I don't have my book here, I'm in a different room. Chapter 26 or something on Leki Leki. Okay, so imagine we've got a triangle ABC, right? 3 angles, that's why it's called triangle. What we tend to do is we tend to put on the corners where the angles are capital letters. Capital letters where the angles are, and then we put smaller case letters opposite the angle. We call it, this is going to be length B. Opposite that angle A, we've got small a, which is the length. So you've got length and angles. So as you can see from C down to here, so this is what we called the perpendicular, yeah? And in S1, I think we teach this, is half, the area of a triangle is half the base, so this is your base, which is C, time that height, as long as that height is got a 90-degree angle here. So that's the formula that they learn. Because what you need to remember is if you got a base here and the height here, the height can be moved here, and you can make a rectangle around that. And you can see that here you've got half that triangle, half that, and then half here as well.
Or
So basically it's half times C, that base, times this height here, H. So how do we calculate H? Using trig. So the sine of A is equal to what? Opposite side. Remember we said SOHCAHTOA? So basically you've got here SOH, so opposite side hypotenuse. So basically the sine of this angle here is H divided by B, according to SOHCAHTOA. So if you replace now H, if you make H the subject of this formula, you get H equal B sine A, because what you do is you time by B both sides. So substitute that into this area here, and you've got A equal half times C times B sine A. And this is given to you in the formula sheet. So the formula sheet will tell you area of any triangle is half that length times that length if you've been given the angle here. So if you've got 2 sides and an angle in between, sometimes you see people writing as side angle side, and they ask you to find the area of the triangle is half both sides times sine this angle. That's where that formula is coming from. Okay, so I don't want you to apply it without understanding where it's coming from, because you've got more chance to remember why we've used it, even if it's given to you during the exam, okay? So let's have a look. This is just written as half BC sine A. Okay, so the area of any triangle can be found by this formula, half BC sine A, as long as you clearly annotate your angles and your sides. Opposite is little b, opposite is A. So that's the first thing you need to start working on with. So another version, you could say that it's half AC. So if you've got this angle given to you, and you've got A and C, you can rewrite it as half AC sine B. Or if it's sine C that you've been given, it's half AB sine C. So as long as you've got 2 sides and the corresponding angle between the two sides, usually what I tell my student is open your arms. So if you got two sides given and the angle in between those two arms, then you can use that.
So you
Okay.
pick whatever you use sine as to whatever one they ask you.
Yeah,
in a
so
question.
basically the question
They
might be,
find
yeah, calculate the area of this triangle, and they're going to give you this side, for example, this side, and that angle.
so it gives
Okay.
you the leeway.
Or they might give you this side, this side. They might not give you that angle, but they might say that this angle is 35, for example, and this angle is 45. And you've learned that all angles in a triangle add up to 180. 35 plus 45, that's 80. So the only thing left is 100. So you could, by using something else that you've learned before, find that angle. So you might have to work out the angle itself to get to the area. So that would be like 2 marks, for example. Oh, I've got to do something here before getting here. If it's just 1 mark, they'll give you the side, and the angle. You know, you're just going to plug the formula, half that side times sine this. Yeah?
And is it always sine?
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
seen a
it's
few of
always
those.
sine. So the area is given with a sine. So it's the sine because remember you had to, it's the height, and the height would be the opposite divided by the hypotenuse, which is what we proved earlier on.
I think I saw one that was like it gave you two sides, so maybe like A and C, and then it said sine equal to 0.5 or something.
So because because what it is it's a non-calculator question. So you don't have to go and put sine B there to find that it's something. Okay. Yep. So good point there.
Okay.
So basically, what did I put there? Yeah, it's example. So let's pick an example. Find the area of that triangle. Half. So this time I've got A. Small a is 20 centimeter. Small b is 25 centimeter. And the angle associated with C. So I'm going to do half of A times B times sine 30. Okay. So remember, this is small a. You can write it on if you want, and then small b. I've seen people doing that. At least they don't get confused, so they know what is A, what is B, and then sine 30. Okay, so you do the calculation, type that in your calculator. Half of 20 is 10. 10 times 25 is 250. Sine 30, is that root 3 over 2 or something? A half.
125 centimeters, yeah.
So half of 250 is 125 centimeters square.
You could
Remember,
do that with a calculator.
yeah, so you could do it, but I think, yeah, there are a few angles that it's the highest, they've got to know this. Yeah. At your level, they'll tell you that sine 30 is 0.5. Calculate this.
All right, okay. No worries.
Or if they want to be a bit more cynical, they might put, where is sine positive? So you've got CAST. So if it's 30 here, 180 take away 30 is 150, yeah? So they might say to you, sine 150 is a half. Calculate this. You've got to use CAST now to see that if you've got 180 take away 30, you get your 150. So the value for sine 150 is the same value for sine 30. Remember, the sine signal goes like that, and this is 180. So you had 0, 180. So at 30 degree, we've got a half, but at 150, we've got a half as well. So they might tell you sine 150 is 0.5. Calculate this. Use CAST, draw your sine, and figure it out. Okay. So there's more than one way to add marks into a question. Next, find the area of the triangle. So sometime instead of writing A, B, and C, they might write E, D, and F. But it's the same thing. You can decide to say this is D, this is F. So it's going to be half of D times F times sine 60, right? It's the same thing. You've got two sides and an angle. So the version you're going to use this time is going to be half of D. So this is small d time F, small f, sine E, which is 60. Or the other thing I've seen sometime is a student like in A, B, and C just told me that I'm going to make E equal A, for example. I'm going to change D into a B, and I'm going to change F into a C. And that way, he went and say C is 8 centimeter, and then B is 10 centimeter, and he just gave me the area. He says it's half of AB, sorry, half of BC times sine A, because he preferred it that way, and he got the same answer. Because
So
sine
if you
A,
were writing that down as you're working, would you be okay to write, if you were changing it down as A, B, and C, you would just, as you've done there, write
Yep.
right next to it, and as long as you change it.
as long as you show it, because what they ask is for the area. So if you type that by changing it, you'll get the same answer, because you're going to do half times 8 times 10 times sine 60. So
Yeah.
you're fine. So if you prefer it, rewriting them, that's fine. You just write it on your sheet.
So you can just rewrite your area half and then write as in BC sine A, and that'd be fine to have that as you're working?
Yep.
As long as you've put in half DF sine E to start with?
Correct.
Right.
You're allowed to do whatever you feel more comfortable with. And it's
Okay.
to do with, because they've always done it with A, B, and C, to stop them from making a silly mistake and thing, they just decided that's probably a cleverer way for me to call that B or C or whatever. And now I've got my ABCs the way I like to see it.
That formula is in the formula sheet, isn't it?
So yeah, it's in the formula sheet. It's half of AB sine
Half of
C or half of BC sine A or something. I need to check, but you'll see it's one of them.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, I think I've spotted it before. But
Then 40 times 0.866, which is 34.64. So they've not told us. So here, technically, you would put 2 decimal place. So you've decided to round it to 2 decimal place.
Mhm.
That's perfect. Okay. What goes in the box? So basically, it's your turn. So you've got your calculator. And you tell me what goes in the box. So it's up to you. You can decide you're going to call them ABC, or you can just remember it's half of AB sine C, as long as this is your C. Now A could be this, B could be this. It's up to you. You can say this is A and B for you.
Samantha's just put in a message. I'm confused. How did sine 60 become 0.8?
866. Let me check. Because sine 30 was 0.5, no?
Yeah,
So
that was
it's sine 30 is 0.5, sine 60 is √3/2. And if you change from scientific to decimal, so if you do scientific to decimal, you'll get 0.866 with 3 decimal place, right? So half of 8 is 4. 4 times 10 is 40. That's the 40 there. and using your calculator in degrees, guys. So remember to make sure that your angles are showing in degrees on your calculator. Sine 60 is going to be 0.866. Okay, it's got to be less than 1 anyway. So for the first one here, we're going to have half of 12 times 12.6. So on your calculator, you should be typing half of 12.6
It's 15.
times 15.
I've got that as 94.5.
93. I've got 39.92.
Yeah, well then I've done that separate, and then I was going to do the sign bit.
All right. Yeah,
Isn't
so
That's like 36.
so 0.5
Yeah, and I've got the same as.
with 1 decimal place.
Do you need to write times sign, or can you just do sine C
I
sine?
think you don't need to write time sign. You can just do
Yeah,
15 sign will give you the same answer.
Yeah.
I think it should be the same answer. Is it 23? So 23,
Oh, wrong.
and you get 36.924, which they've rounded to 1 decimal place here. Or 3 significant figures. You can write it as well if you prefer to write with the scientific knowledge. You can just put 3 significant figures. Both are okay. Side angle. So side angle side. You usually see people saying it's an SAS. Half of 5.7 times 6.2 sine 71. So again,
16.7 degrees or 70, 2 significant figures.
so we should get
16.7.
yeah 16.7, 1 decimal place. Oops. Okay, 16.7. So you've practiced it. Write ABC if you think it's better to write ABC. So you could say this is A, this is B, and this is my angle C, capital C in degree. And then use your formula, half of AB sine C. Or you can just come straight away, oh, I know this. 2 side, 1 angle in between is half time the 2 sides sine the angle. Okay. Let's have a look here. Sometime you're given the area and you must use the formula to calculate either a missing side or an angle. So in this case here, what do we have? We have area given to us already. Instead of calculating it, we've been given the area. Okay. I've got the angle. I've got one side and I've been asked to find the other side.
Samantha said, I keep getting negative numbers. I'm surely doing it wrong.
Let me check for this one. Half of 5.
She's not said what one. She just says, I keep getting negative
It's-
numbers.
It's for all of them. Like when I put it into the calculator, I keep getting negative numbers. I'm not getting the same answers as you.
So you've got, so you
Like
calculate.
that first one I put into the calculator, it gives me minus 79.96.
For this one, half of 12.6.
Yeah.
And your calculator, is that a Casio?
Yeah.
So can you do menu for your calculator? Sorry, shift menu.
Yeah.
So what does it say for the angle? What unit do you have for your angle? Do you remember?
23.
Now the unit, like, is it saying degree or maybe at the top of your screen,
Should have a wee D5 like that.
do you have a D showing at the top or a R?
An R.
Oh, that's the reason. So you need to make sure that you've got your calculator set into degrees. So you do shift, I think it's shift menu, and then you pick DEG. Have you got an option to pick degree there?
No.
There should be like a rad or a DEG. Have you got?
I'll figure it out. If
It's
that's what's
okay.
wrong with it, I'll figure it out. I'll not take up everybody's time. Let's carry.
Because if you got you could show me which calculator you've got. If you could share it if you want. Because the Casio, John, you've got a Casio with you.
It should
Yeah,
feel
Castle.
like that. I'll try and hold it up as best I can. So see if you see the little D at the top.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on degrees. I think that's what agents. If you could probably see that 3 degree.
And
like
did you just do shift mode setup to
yeah,
get that?
I can. Yeah, I
Yep.
did shift, and
And
you
then
can.
press number 3.
Yeah,
And then press number 3 should give you degrees.
yeah.
No,
shift
nothing
is
comes
top.
up on mine.
So shift mode, what happened when you do shift mode?
Nothing.
Or shift
Shift
menu?
mode setup does nothing, and then there's no other menu
Mode
button.
setup. Yeah, you can. Yeah, it's shift and then it's mode setup. So you're going from the top left.
Yeah, to the other
Right,
top.
that makes sense.
Right, yeah.
And then
Nothing
from there you
happens
can-
when I do that.
All right, that's weird because I
Yeah.
would shift. I'll try and do this like that. Shift, and then you can. It should then.
Yeah,
now-
that's the same as mine.
Aye, so then I'd hit
That's
shift
what you're
and
looking
mode.
for.
Yeah, Kirsty's got the same. I think.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
yeah.
That's not coming up. It's maybe my calculator. Sorry, I'll have to take a look at it.
You can get them like they're pretty. You can get these like totally easy. They're not expensive.
Aye, my mum works in the college, so she'll probably get me one.
An FX.
It should have the D at the top, basically. So
Yeah.
not sure.
Perfect, that explains it. Thank you, guys.
Maybe menu, you need to be like menu 1 for calculation. So maybe if your menu is in calculation as well. So rather than doing shift menu, just do menu and then make sure that you press the 1.
Yeah, if I just do the menu without the shift, it comes up comp, stat, table, and verify.
So I think you need to use 1 for the menu, which is
Okay.
comp. So then that means your calculator would be in math mode. And now come out of that and now do shift menu, and that should be able to give you the other options.
Yeah, it still doesn't come up with anything.
No?
It must just be my calculator.
Yeah, strange. Because yeah, that's usually what happened. If you got the wrong setup on the calculator, then you would get the wrong calculations.
At least I know now.
Yeah, I think it's set in radians. Okay, so if we get back to here, we have the area. We have a missing side, but we can write the formula still by just saying that we've got half of BC. So half of BC sine 42. So I've got B, which is 12. So once I've got that, because I'm looking for C, I can change the subject, or you can do the calculation. 52.2 equal half times 12 times x times sine 42. So if you do half of 12 is 6, 6 sine 42, you'll get 4.01. And now that you've got 52.2 equal 4.01 times x, which is what you're looking for, you just divide by 4.01 both sides, and you get the value of x.
So you're working back the words, but you don't know
Yeah.
what X is.
So you don't know what x is, but you know how to solve an equation where you've got x times something equals something else. You just divide by that something
that
on
be
both sides.
That'd be something to throw in as a problem solving. Obviously, that would be.
Yeah, so these kind of
that be a
questions, instead of just getting 1 mark where you just plug the formula, you get a second mark because you're going to solve an equation.
Okay.
It's just they call it changing the subject, or substitute first, and then you get your answer. So
okay, go back to 2 minutes. Just
sorry.
2 seconds. I just need to fill.
And then you have to find X.
So yes, it's working backwards. So instead of having both sides, they've given you the area. So you put what the area is, you put what you've got, and then you do all the calculation. And at the end, you've got to solve for X basically.
Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes that's my biggest issue, is trying to figure it out and trying to visualize it and then throw it in. That's what I don't like. But
So in
it's
this
good.
question here, we've got something similar. So I've got an angle. I've got one side. I've been given the area. Now I've got to find the other side. Yeah, calculate the length of the smallest side of the ramp. So you've got ramp up, ramp down there. So it's the one where you ramp down if you go up the way. And then give your answer to 2 decimal places. Okay, so first of all, we're going to label the triangle. So you're going to say, okay, this is C, this is A, this is B, this is going to be my A, this is going to be my B, and this is going to be, so you don't need the small c, but you've got, so the next step is A is the shortest side as is opposite the smallest angle. So we must calculate A. You just write A as X meter, we're looking for X, B is 3 meter, C is this angle here, and the area is 2.8. So use the area formula, half of AB sine C, just like we did earlier on, half of X times 3 times sine 105, and 1.5 sine 105 is 1.45. You divide 2.8 by 1.45, and you get 1.93 to 2 decimal places. So it's exactly the same exercise as before, but this time you just had to make sure that you can label it first. Because the formula in the formula sheet is with sine C, if you're given an angle, pick C as your angle. Remember, you can rotate them the way you want, but it's probably a good way to just say C is going to be your angle. Okay. So homework 1. National 5, Lecky and Lecky, exercise 25A, question 1. So one question for 25A and a couple of questions for exercise 25B. So we're in chapter 25. Page 294, and exercise 25B is page 298. Okay. So let's have a look at one exercise. Yeah, so it's very much what we've been doing. So we're going to try and pick something a bit harder than this. This is just half of 10 times 24 times sine 95, right? I think once you're going to get used to them, but if you wanted to be pedantic at the start, is you would start saying this is C, this is A, and this is B. You look at your formula sheet. So this would be capital A and capital B, and this would be your small c. Yeah? That means you can pick your formula sheets. You know that the formula is half of A times B times sine C, and then you can do that. Now let's pick something a bit harder. So A, B, C, D, E, F. So we're gonna do F, yeah. F or C are the same, so we can do F if you want.
Some of them have 2 angles, and you need to make sure.
Just any.
Yeah. So let's try and do F. Let's say you're gonna say this is A, this is B, right?
Mm-hmm.
I need sine C. Okay. I've been given B and I've been given A as angles, yeah? So there's something that tells me in a triangle, sum of all angles equal 180.
180.
So that means C is just 180 take away 74 plus 37.
Oh, so you don't even need the formula for that.
Even the basic
180
maths.
take
Was
away,
it just 79? Sorry.
yeah,
See, I've been panicking in exam thinking it couldn't be that simple.
so it'd be 6.
Yeah.
So there you go, you've got your angle there. Remember I said you need to find an angle between two sides. I've got my two sides there. I've got to find that angle. Now I've got my angle. I can apply the formula because they've asked us at the start, calculate. Remember the question? Use the area formula to calculate the area of each triangle, giving your answers to one decimal place. That's me now. I've got everything I need. Area is just half of A, which is 20.5, times 13. So I plug all this in my calculator, and what do you get? If your calculator is working, obviously. So 1/2 times 20.5 times 13 times sine 69.
124.399. But
Yeah. So
put this to one
first
two
thing, yeah, 124.399, and then you put dot dot dot. To get your final answer, remember this is centimeter square. You can add that as well because it's area. They've asked us to give it to one decimal place.
Mhm.
Your final mark would be to show whoever's gonna mark you that you know how to round to one decimal place. Look at the second one. It's more than 5. This one goes up.
Yep.
And that should be your answer for this question. So you'd be 2 marks for this question. 1 to find the angle. But even if you don't find the angle, let's say you put 79. You need to keep doing sine 79 and then give your answer. You will get a mark for the second one because you've still used the correct formula, but it's based on a rank entry. So you won't get that mark because you got 79, but you will still get 50% of the mark. Okay. So whatever angle you find, still go and do something. Don't just stop here and say, I don't know what to do because I don't have the correct angle. You just need to do something. Or let's say, by the look of it, this look like less than 90, a bit more than, just say that looks like a, I don't know, 74-degree angle, right? This is 2 marks. You write saying, I think C is 74, and you do area equal, you will get 50% of the mark. Whereas if you come here and you panic, and you don't write anything, you get 0.
Yeah.
Because you knew what the area would be. So as long as you write something, use that something, give yourselves a chance, yeah?
Mhm.
So whenever you've got a triangle, sum of all angles is 180. So in this question here, I've got 2 triangles, same area. So you would need to calculate this one first, find what the area is. Now that you've got the area, you say, okay, I'm going to calculate this one using that area, and that'll be able to give you X. Yeah?
Yeah.
For this one, calculate the area of the unshaded segment. Okay, so you've been asked to calculate this. Remember we talked about sector area?
Pi is like angle over 360.
There you go,
Times by
68 divided by 360
That's
times pi r square.
R square. I was pretty on that. I made a mistake.
No, there are no.
I was just checking these were all awake.
And that gives you the full. But remember, it's not the full that we're looking for. We're looking for that portion there. Then you can calculate the triangle. So find that first. Find the triangle, and we said it's half. So you can call that A. You can call that B if you want. And this is your angle C. Half of AB, so half of 12 times 12 times sine 868. That would be your triangle area. So you've got the total area and the area of the triangle. Then to find that unshaded bit, you just take away from that big bit the triangle. Okay?
Yep.
So you do that, take away that, equal that, which is what you were looking for, yeah? Find that, take that away from it, you'll get what you were looking for.
Okay.
So that would be like 1 mark for this, 1 mark for this, 1 mark for that. Yeah, that would be a 3 marker. Yeah, 3.
Tricky one. I mean, I didn't even think to use that area of a sector.
Yeah, so sector area is something that should come to you whenever you're going to be looking at area with a code associated with it. So whenever you can see that wee circle portion and they're talking about area, sector area. Why is it pi r square, not pi d? Area is given in centimeter square. That's why it's pi r square. A length is given in centimeter, then it's going to be pi d.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've looked at area of a triangle, any triangle. Now we're going to apply what we call the sine rule.
Adrian, sorry, can you just go back to the last slide?
This one, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
So yeah, you do sector area first. So that is unit 1. Sector area equal. Then area of triangle, unit 3. Which is why I was telling you guys, it's going to be difficult. So math is a subject where whatever you learn, you're going to use all the time. Okay. It's a bit like, it's not a subject where you can think, oh, if I wait till the last minute, I'll revise everything, I'll be okay. Usually 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be that okay. You could be lucky that you're going to revise on things, or you're going to get questions on things, but sometimes questions comes back with other things that you've seen along the way. Okay. So, sine rule. I think I'll give you another 5 minutes break, and then I'm going to pause this